How's it going, everyone? We already did a video looking at deals under the price of $5. Now, it's time to look at the deals under $10. A lot of games at this price threshold. Of course, the under $10 videos are always the ones where, you know, there's just so many options as far as what can go, and I might end up doing a second video of under $10 games. We've got about 15 deals to go over in this video, so let's just get right into it. Kicking things off, gotta talk about RGG and Yakuza Like a Dragon, 50% off for $9.99. Awesome game here, and I would argue Yakuza Like a Dragon is a totally fine entry point for the RGG Games titles, because yes, while it would be beneficial for you to play the Kiryu Yakuza games, Yakuza Like a Dragon stars a brand new main character in Ichiban Kasuga, and it tells its own story. Now, would it be beneficial, and again, would you get more out of the story? A little bit more. Not like a huge amount more out of the story if you played the other games, and again, it's more about getting your foot in the door with these games, and once you play one, you'll probably enjoy it so much you'll want to circle back and play some of the others, but this acts as a great entry point, and it's more of a turn-based JRPG rather than an action beat-em-up, so if you prefer the action beat-em-up style of gameplay, go check out Judgment or Yakuza 0, but Yakuza Like a Dragon for $9.99, excellent deal, and I am quite a big fan of Ichiban. He's my favorite character out of the RGG games titles. Yeah, I just think he's super likable, and as far as main characters in an RPG, I think he's one of the best as far as character development and just how likable he is. For $9.99, great pickup there for sure. Next up, Dying Light The Following Enhanced Edition, 70% off for $8.99. Now, this includes Dying Light. On top of that, you get a bunch of bonus content, including Cuisine and Cargo, Ultimate Survivor Bundle, the Bozak Horde, Dying Light The Following, and the Crash Test Bundle. It doesn't include everything because there is a definitive edition that has a couple more pieces of content, but the Enhanced Edition is great. Dying Light's an awesome open world action zombie title. I know we get a lot of zombie games these days, but Dying Light's a damn good one, and I think mechanically, from the platforming to the combat, I think Dying Light 1 is a really well done game, and most people would agree Dying Light 1 is better than Dying Light 2, but I still really enjoyed Dying Light 2 as well. Dying Light 1 just was really solid, and we do have Dying Light the Beast coming out, which definitely you'll want to be caught up on all the Dying Light games before playing the Beast, but the Beast will be out probably sometime later this year. Hopefully that turns out fairly well, but for now, go play Dying Light 1, $8.99 on that. Great deal there. Ender Lilies Quietus of the Night, 60% off for $9.99. Now, this game has an awesome visual style and a darker aesthetic to it. It's a dark fantasy 2D action RPG about unraveling the mysteries of a destroyed kingdom. On this sorrowful journey, encounter horrific enemies against whom a moment of inattention can be fatal. Overcome these hardships and seek the truth with the help of fallen knights. The game was received really strongly and recently just had a sequel released as well, Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist, I want to say it's called. But for now, Ender Lilies Quietus of the Night's great pickup there. Ender Magnolia is on sale, but it's still like $18 and change, so I would just check out Ender Lilies first if you've yet to play either of the games. Next up, Catherine Full Body Edition, 80% off for $7.99. Loved Catherine. I played it back in the day when it initially came out. I want to say it was 2012, and it is such a quirky, off-the-wall game, a bunch of different narrative paths and things like that. The game is incredibly enjoyable, and I think it's a really well-done game. The Full Body Edition includes another story route to go through, another character route, I should say. And the story is so zany, so off-the-wall, but I think a lot of you guys are going to end up really enjoying it. For $7.99, it's great. I wouldn't say, you know, if you're very much a Western gamer and you play mostly Western games and you don't play a lot of Japanese games, Catherine probably shouldn't be the first game you check out. Go check out like Final Fantasy 16. That's on sale as well right now, $32 and change. But if you're familiar with Japanese games and you're down with a little bit of quirkiness, I think Catherine Full Body Edition is great. And for $7.99, a good pickup there. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, 90% off for $5.99. I mean, this deal is nuts. It's always a nuts deal whenever it's available. It's Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 for $6. I have this game physically, and I spent $60 on it. And for the $60, $60 I was spending, I was like, yeah, no brainer. You get all 3 games. You could charge me $80 and I would pay that. Okay, like maybe 80 would be a little bit of a stretch, but Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 are such good games, and Mass Effect 2 is legitimately one of the greatest video games of all time. Mass Effect 3 is really good as well. It's just the ending doesn't, you know, leave a great taste. And Mass Effect 1 is really solid. It just does show its age. They do what they can to try to revitalize it and modernize it a little bit, but yeah, Mass Effect 1 is still very much worthwhile to play through. Everybody that I talk to these days, when they pick up the Mass Effect trilogy and they either play it for the first time or they're doing a replay. It seems like Mass Effect 1 is the game they kind of just try to rush through and then get to Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 2 is just incredible. Mass Effect 1, again, I think it's a pretty solid game, all things considered, even with it being a little dated, and for $5.99 to get the entire trilogy, a great pickup there. A couple of Assassin's Creed games. We got AC4 Black Flag, $8.99, AC Syndicate at $8.99 as well. Y'all know me, I love me my throwback Assassin's Creed titles, and Black Flag and Syndicate are awesome. I think Syndicate is criminally underrated. It came out the year after Unity, and Unity was like an atrocity from a technical standpoint, and I feel like Syndicate kind of felt the brunt of that after, you know, Unity wasn't that great. Syndicate was the follow-up title, and a lot of people just kind of, I feel, checked out of Assassin's Creed by then, but I thought Syndicate was a damn good game, and it recently got upgraded 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5 now, so definitely worthwhile to check that out, and it's a great game in its own right. And Black Flag, need I say more, Black Flag is tremendous, and the only thing is, it is rumored to be getting a ground-up remake, and it looks like that is very likely. Probably going to be a 2026 game, by the looks of it. It would have been 2025, I imagine, had Shadows not been delayed. But it might end up being 2025 still, because I imagine they would want to get it out this upcoming fiscal year. So it's either going to be by the end of 25 or maybe early 26. We'll see how that turns out. Things are always in flux. Middle-earth Shadow of War Definitive Edition, 90% off for $5.99. RIP Monolith Productions, because they did a tremendous job with Shadow of Mordor and Shadow War. Shadow of War did try to go, you know, a little bit DLC heavy. They did try to, you know, make some extra cha-ching and, you know, pave the way for a lot of the other games that Warner Brothers would publish, but Shadow of War was still fundamentally a well-made game. Action-oriented gameplay was great, and yeah, from a visual standpoint, looked solid. Wish you would get a legit PS5 upgrade, but probably that's not gonna happen, you know, because Monolith did shut down, so it is what it is. But for $6, the Definitive Edition is a pretty good buy. Let's run through a bunch of Final Fantasy games. First of all, Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD Remaster, 60% off for $9.99. I love Final Fantasy X. It's a great game. I remember back in the day growing up, here's a funny story. I didn't really know the concept of memory cards until I was older. I didn't get this idea that you could save games. Yes, I literally played video games and didn't realize you could save games. So, like, I don't even know how I couldn't put 2 and 2 together. Bear in mind, I was super young at this point. Maybe it was just the case of, like, asking for games. I didn't want to ask for the memory card because I feel like I could ask for a game and say, whatever. Needless to say, I didn't have a memory card growing up for a long time playing video games, and Final Fantasy X was one of those games that I played with no memory card, so it's like, if you die, GG, you're going back to the beginning of the game. I remember we got to the last boss at one point, and yeah, we failed at the last boss, and that was sickening. Obviously, I went back and I played the game through in its entirety, but a funny little story about how I was gaming growing up. The no memory card life was insane. It's essentially hardcore mode on every game. It was insanity, and I don't know how I was doing that back in the day, but nevertheless, Final Fantasy X is a great game. Love the sphere grid system. Music is great. That battle theme is still a classic and something that's embedded in my memory. And the story in FF10 is great. 10-2, I don't hate it as much as everybody else. I think it's a decent game. Don't take me to the gallows for that take, but, you know, you're not buying this for 10-2, you're buying this for 10, and consider 10-2 as a little bit of an add-on, and I think you'll enjoy it quite a lot. Final Fantasy VII OG is $6.39. I believe this game is still very much worthwhile to play. Obviously, the remake is coming out, or the remake trilogy. Those games are all incredibly long. Obviously, from a technical standpoint, they are much better than OG FF7, but OG FF7 still offers a lot to like. The classic turn-based battle system, you still got some great music, and it's the original story. I think Final Fantasy VII will continue to be a timeless game, and now you offer two different kinds of experiences, and I think if you're somebody that played the remake and you played Rebirth, circling back and playing the original, I think could be a pretty cool experience. And maybe you don't want to spoil yourself on what happens in the upcoming Part 3, but things are going awry as well with the remake trilogy, so you can come up with your own decision on how you want to approach that. But FF7's a classic, definitely worthwhile there. Final Fantasy VIII, kind of the black sheep of the Final Fantasy franchise. I still really dug Final Fantasy VIII. It's just some of the mechanics I wasn't crazy about. I thought the story fell off at a certain point as well. I want to say from my recollection, it was around the second half where I kind of started checking out, but I still overall enjoyed the game. It's just not at the level of 7, of course. And then Final Fantasy IX is $8.39. I get that a lot of people think Final Fantasy IX is the best Final Fantasy of all time, and, you know, I'm just not in that camp. Did I enjoy the game? Yeah, I liked Final Fantasy IX. I just don't think it's a 7, or a 10 even. I think my ranking of the Final Fantasy games would actually have people take me to the gallows, because I think I would go FF7 1, Final Fantasy 4 2, Final Fantasy 10 3, I think I would go 13 4, and then 5 would be Final Fantasy 12. Yeah, that would get me taken to the gallows, what it did. Yeah, let's just, like, you guys did hear that. That is definitely, I would have to sit down and really think about my rankings for the Final Fantasy game, but yeah, that top 5 would definitely have me taken to the gallows. So, I like all the Final Fantasy games, but, like, yo, I do like 13 a lot more than most people, but nevertheless, 9 there is $8.39, and it's a good game. I just wasn't crazy about the characters. I wasn't as enamored with it as a lot of other people, but take the overwhelming consensus opinion that it's one of the best Final Fantasies released. Code Vein is $8.99. You got anime Souls-like action here. Solid game, all things considered. It's not at the level of, like, a FromSoft game, but still a very, very well done game, and I am a little bit of a weeaboo, so the anime aesthetic is going to be far more up my alley for sure. $8.99, good pickup there. Streets of Rage 4 is 60% off for $9.99. Good deal for Streets of Rage 4. A really, really flashy and visually pleasing action beat 'em up that, while it pays homage to the classics, at the same time it does a good job of having an accessibility to a newer audience as well. $9.99, a good pickup there, especially if you can get a friend to pick it up, play some co-op, and you'll have a good time with that. And lastly, Infamous Second Son is down to $9.99. Liked Infamous Second Son, not as much as Infamous 1 and 2. I just think Cole's a stronger main character than Delsin, but Delsin's still a decent character. It's just kind of wild how the story unfolds in this game. Like, I think the the ending of the evil route is actually diabolic. Like, Delsin, like, just some unhinged stuff goes on at the ending of the evil route. I like to think the good route, the good karmatic route, is the canon route for Infamous Second Son, but nonetheless, I think it's a great game, and I definitely would recommend it at $9.99. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, a lot of great PlayStation Store game deals available right now. All these under the price of $10, and there's so much more to go over, which I'm sure we'll get to in a future video. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for watching. Sound off down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.